For those of you who were here yesterday afternoon, an encore performance by Walter Hughes. For those of you who weren't here yesterday afternoon, Walter Hughes.
Good morning. Wow, I don't know if there's hope for Rotarians to stay smarter longer, but maybe if we give the cart, it might be possible. We are here to talk big and to ask you to dream big so that we can change lives here at home and around the world. We want you to talk that the impossible is possible. Thank you. And that I can use a clicker. You have been talking to me just for half a day about your dreams, and I am blown away. Rotarians have a huge opportunity to move ahead, to do good in the world. Our goals have changed. Now our goal is to be able to have a long-term impact and to spend our money wisely. And that's where we're really asking you to go with the grants, is to not just have something that goes for a short time, but really changes lives for generations. Rotarians around District 7570 we are a great district, and we're recognized as a wonderful partner. And Rotarians from all around the world are coming to us to partner. And I want to tell you that when we as clubs partner, and I will go through some examples of all of our projects that the clubs have brought to us. We didn't invent these ideas. You did. And I am so proud of the work you're doing. And one of those is an MOU. And that MOU is going to be signed by your president and your president-elect. It's very simple. It says, I will raise money and spend that money wisely. It'll have a long-term impact. And the work that the past president did, I'll make sure it gets done. Okay? So whether you're a small club or a big club, it doesn't matter. We're going to spend money wisely and get it done. We have 3 grant types now. In Polio Now is the first. We will see it done. The humanitarian grants, we have 3 of those, and I'll talk about those in a minute, and educational. The humanitarian grants now are district, global, and package grants. The district are small projects for local, primarily, and some international work. The global grants are a much larger project with a budget of around $30,000 plus. And the package grant is where we can do work with mercy ships or an NGO that does microcredits. So the work is already done. We have an instant package. Just add Rotarians. Okay? So that's our package grant. It has the money, it has the idea, it just needs you. The district grants, the deadline is April 15th. So we're asking the president-elects to come to PETS with an idea, talk to us during PETS, and then submit that grant application the next week. If you're a DITS, this is grants. You need to have compassion for your fellow man and your fellow woman and child. Then that compassion needs to turn into a passion. And that passion turns into a story that you need to tell. And if you tell that story, you build friendships. And those friendships turn into a team. And so we need to learn about people and their countries. We also need to learn what's needed in our hometown. And we need to stop just giving checks in our hometowns. We need to have things that last. So let's look at projects that take a little bit more effort than just passing out the check. What can we do? Because we need to have that compassion for our hometown and around the world. And that compassion is how we get the passion. Marie Murphy had that passion for Bangladesh. And it's been a while since our district has worked in Bangladesh. And she told a story. She told that story to the clubs in Area 1. and said, I want to have a long-term impact that goes over many years. And we want to work on tube wells, latrines, better schools, and better health. And all those things that she's talking about turns into hope. And where there's hope, there's peace. And so the Area 1 clubs joined that effort. But it started with a story. And wherever she went, that story was told. And she said, let's focus on one town, Srinagar, Bangladesh, and let's transform that town. Wow. So let's not do it for 1 year. Let's do it for at least 3. Rotarians, we believe in win-win partnerships with other Rotary clubs in our district and around the world. And I found out that once we build that partnership, those Rotarians want to work with you year in and year out. And we partner with churches and nonprofit organizations and even governments, because governments have learned that when Rotarians say we'll do something, we keep our word. We match the strengths of Rotarians to the strengths of other organizations. And that's how we can have such an amazing team. Those partnerships need to be open and transparent. We'll partner with you, but if you can't tell us what you're doing as a nonprofit, you can't show us how the money went, then we won't work with you next time. Because we want it to be a win for Rotary and a win for that organization. And so that is where we're able to go now, is to find those win-win partnerships. And it's growing. We are finding people all over the world that keep coming back to Virginia and Tennessee. And they are saying, we want to work with you. Our money multiplies. And I think this is the untold story that we really don't know. We know that if we raise money in our clubs, the district matches that, right? Then we know that the Rotary Foundation matches the district money and the club money. But it doesn't stop there anymore. What's happened is we have partners in North Carolina and California and Iowa and Florida and Switzerland, and all these grants that are raising money too, and then their districts matching that money. And then we're working with outside partnerships like the St. Jude's Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. And so what's happened is that dollar you've raised in your club is now multiplied by 14 for the Beirut project, by 15 for the South African water filter project. Wow. Get that story out, that it's not just a 1-to-1 match or a 2-to-1 match, and some projects it's even higher. Rotarians are focusing our passion. I have a passion for water and sanitation. I didn't until an assistant governor asked the question about a well. But without water, we don't have life. Rotarians love kids and babies and expectant mothers. We just have a heart for those kids. And so many of our projects focus on those mothers and their babies and trying to make sure that when they're born, they're healthy. Disease prevention. We just talked about Alzheimer's. Rotarians have a passion for polio, but there's so many other things. We have helped to eradicate guinea worm disease from the entire country of Ghana. Now, we're saying, let's dream about eradicating guinea worm disease from an entire world. Why stop with one disease when we can wipe out multiple? Peace. Goodwill and peace, it's more than a slogan. I have learned that as Rotarians, we are very different as you travel around the world. And when you have Rotarians from different cultures, different faiths, different beliefs, all coming together to change the world, we can provide that hope. And with that hope, we can provide peace. I was in an area of Ghana where the Water and Sanitation Committee was meeting. I realized they were Muslims and Christians all in the same room. And they were all working together to dig the same wells. And instead of digging 7 wells, they were digging 14. And I said, wow. And this is an area of unrest in Ghana. And so I said a prayer with Muslims and Christians there, and I said, may every drink of water be a drink of peace. So as we go in and say, we care about your kids, that's peace. Does our district love literacy and education? So many of the projects that Dick Ray lifted up yesterday is where we have a passion for our schools here at home. But we have passion for schools overseas. And we are businessmen and women and young leaders coming up in high school and college, and so economic and community development is really key. And so we've got to begin to do more of those kinds of projects. It's a passion, but we're hoping to do more of that going forward. We have touched people's lives. If you go onto the Rotary 7570.org website and go to district and grants, you'll see this map. And you can click on a given country and see all the work being done in that country. You can see it by area of focus. So what are we doing for babies? What are we doing for water? So for a Rotary moment in your club, this would be a great place to go. This is the time to lead. You are the people that can do this work. You have a grants team, but we're the support staff. You are the leaders. You have the vision. You can inspire people by your leadership. The reason why you're here, you are the leaders. And you're giving to the annual fund, and Lee Beam is right down there, and she's ready to take your check. So let's mentor and encourage the new leaders of tomorrow. And you have the passion in your heart. So if there was ever a time to lead our district and lead our country and the world, it is now. And you have the people in your clubs to do that. And they're looking for ways to get that done. We are working this past year in Trinidad and Tobago and Colombia and Mexico. In South Sudan, we have 2 grants. One's approved, one will be approved in 2 weeks. 3 grants for South Africa, in Ghana, in Lebanon, in Bangladesh, and the Czech Republic, which really goes into Israel. And I want to talk about these projects that you have done. We've just helped. And these are ideas that our clubs came up with. This one is truly amazing. The Bluefield Rotary Club and others in the United States have a long-term friendship with the Rotary Club of Beirut in Lebanon. They wrote a grant to buy a brand new retina camera that can find cancer in young children under the age of 3. And these kids go blind, and much worse, they die without being diagnosed. This camera cost $100,000. St. Jude said, we'll put up $50,000 if Rotary can put up the other 50. And we did it. Wow. We're changing lives. This is the Children's Cancer Center at the American University Medical Center in Beirut. So they're getting state-of-the-art equipment. We put up half the money. But the clubs that came with this was there. And Cartagena, Colombia, this is Montgomery County. It's an amazing partnership that has lasted for many years with Coral Gables, Florida, and Fairfield, Iowa. They're sending new skin grafting equipment so babies that are burned or children that get too close to fire can get a skin graft. And so the burn unit desperately needs this equipment. There's a water filter factory that will be built this year. This is pictures from Ghana of a similar factory. But we have been able to work with the Rockingham Rotary Club and our Rotarians in North Carolina to get this grant through. And it just got the official submission yesterday. So it's been a long time coming because it's our last Future Vision grant. And so we had to get adopted and do all that, but it's going to happen. And it will provide jobs, but it also provides safe water in South Africa with those jobs. The Czech Dead Sea Project, Dick Metz talked last year about going to the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Well, they did more than drink beer. Okay, there's a Rotarian there, his name is George, and I talked with George many times working on this grant. And there was a Rotarian in the Czech Republic in one of the clubs that this is his son. And he said, you can feed these kids drugs for their whole life and try to treat this, or you can take them to Israel, to the Dead Sea, and do a treatment over several months, and they will be cured. And so I didn't know how to pronounce the disease. I didn't understand that this disease existed. But because our GSE team went to the Czech Republic, they got to talk to a dad about a son with a rare disease. And if Rotarians around the world got together, we could help those kids lead a normal life. And so that is an offshoot of GSE. Last year I had a dream about South Sudan. I was there in October, but it was at Pets, when I didn't plan to do anything, that a group of president-elects in Area 13 said, what can we do? And they go, we're too small. What can we do? I said, where is your passion? And they said, well, some of our churches have a passion for a place called South Sudan. Can we do something there? And I said, you know, there's 452 people in South Sudan who still have guinea worm disease. Maybe we can have a day when those 452 people no longer have that disease. So now it's not 2 wells, it's 3 wells that have been drilled with the first grant in South Sudan. And if you ever go to a place with no roads, no gas stations, no restaurants, no hotels, and try to dig a well, it's hard. But the Area 13 President-elects had a dream. And then other people joined their dream. And so we are raising over $250,000 for South Sudan. But as we remember these projects, and those are just a few, and I wish I had time to talk about everybody, but we must remember the grants we did last year. Of the school that we helped in South Africa in Grahamstown, and the well that we dug in Ghana, okay, and the hospital that we sent medical equipment to. We need to make sure that that well still flows, and that the school still has the library books. So we need to make sure that what we do this year lasts. And we need to dream big, and I want you to remember that we can't accomplish anything that we dream, but we only can accomplish things that we dare to dream. So we can dream of a day without Alzheimer's. We can dream of a day without polio. We can dream of a day when a mother has a healthy baby. And we need to remember that as Rotarians, people are looking to us to be the leaders with the vision and the understanding of how to build a team. And that is what I want you to do now. This is the picture that I look at when I get discouraged. Last year, this girl wouldn't talk to you. She wouldn't interact because she had Burley ulcer. It's a flesh-eating disease that's neglected. We don't know how it's transmitted. We don't know how it's caused. This year, she's cured because of one of our grants. And with our partnering organization called MAP International, she now is learning a trade. She's learning how to be a seamstress. I saw her in the market with a big smile saying, let me show you how I use my sewing machine. So a girl who had no future, who could not go into her town, now has a dream. And so I want you to know that we can change lives here at home and around the world. And you are the people that can do that. And you are the people that if you dare to dream and to have a passion, the life that you may change may be your own. Thank you.